Okay, so happy Monday, everybody. I know that we are not scheduled to do a video until Thursday, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I may have to do more regular videos rather than, typically on Thursdays because it just seems like there's so much happening, since like the tail end of 2023. Not that there wasn't really before, but I don't know. I think there's a lot that's happening that kind of either bears repeating or is new stuff that's kind of hitting the industry. And it's things that I feel should be brought to light. And I can't cover everything on a Thursday, right? So these may be a little bit impromptu temporarily, but I don't know. Maybe we'll schedule a daily or every other day kind of a thing. I'm not sure yet. So as the title of the video states, there's a new freight scam going on, and it's primarily affecting brokers. But for you carriers, don't think that it's only the brokers, right? And I'll explain as I go through why this could potentially affect some carriers. Guys, before I get into it, the live chat is open. So if you have any comments on this, questions about it or anything, by all means, hit me up. I love it when you guys comment on these videos, maybe offer your opinion. Might even, you might have some input on this that I hadn't even thought about, right? And this is actually a topic that was brought up, Thursday or Friday in the group. One of our fabulous Facebook group members actually had kind of brought this to light in a post, and it didn't really gain the traction that I had hoped it would. So I felt it bared repeating. So essentially, the scam goes like this. It starts with a scam artist posing as a customer who reaches out to a broker offering them freight, right? The broker in turn posts the load, which is then deceitfully accepted by a scam carrier, right? Probably with a burner MC, which is that really a thing? I mean, are we referring to them as burner MCs now, like burner phones you pick up at like the dollar store or Walmart or something? I mean, this has just gotten out of hand. So recently, there's kind of a new breed of the double brokering scam that has emerged, targeting unsuspecting freight brokers and leaving them unpaid, right? Actually, not just unpaid, but out of pocket, right? So we've kind of been talking a little bit about doing due diligence, doing your research, having all the proper tools, right? Whether it's factoring, whether it's using Carrier OK as an additional resource to vet your carriers, things like this, because ultimately without these tools, and it's sad that we have to have these, but at the same time, it could cost us our business, right? So moving on. So this intricate scam essentially involves a labyrinth of fake shippers, carriers, and a series of deceptions that exploit the broker's trust and their system, okay? The scheme starts with a scam artist posing as a customer, contacting a broker to pick up freight, right? Or to, get a load picked up. The broker in turn posts the load, which is then deceitfully accepted by the scammer acting as a carrier. Okay, now, this is with the assumption that the load's going to go to the scammer, right? With the burner MC, right? This fictitious carrier. But what happens if we get a load, let's say pick it up in Kansas City, going to Los Angeles, right? That's a lane that you've got a regular carrier on, and you reach before you don't even post the load to the board, right? You reach out to your partner carrier who you've established a great relationship with and said, hey, I've got this load that just came in, you're in the area, do you want it? right? You give them the load details, they pick up the load. Maybe they don't have a ton of dead end, but let's just say they're 40 or 60 miles away, right? For a load that doesn't exist. And this is why I say this doesn't just affect brokers. Now, is it a bigger impact on brokers? Absolutely. But it affects you carriers as well, right? And until the market sort of completely does a 180 here and turns around, and market rates go up, you can't afford 40 or 60 miles deadhead and to waste that time when you could have had another load, right? So this affects you guys too. So the tactic is essentially a part of a detailed strategy that involves multiple steps. And that first step is the scammer poses a broker to a shipper acquiring their credit information, right? Step two, they then impersonate a shipper to a different broker using the previously acquired information. Third step is with a fake motor carrier MC or a burner MC, I like to kind of refer to it as, because they probably have legitimate authority. Because for you brokers out there that aren't using, Carrier 411, Carrier OK, or any of those others out there, and you're still doing everything through a PDF packet, or maybe you're strictly relying on My Carrier Packets, RMIS, DAT Onboard, or any of those, right, as your vet all to end all on your carriers. I'm sorry to tell you, all that does is basically, all those systems essentially do is verify the information that's already listed in the FMCSA, right? While they're great and they have a purpose, especially if they integrate with your TMS and when you can onboard them and boop, you don't, it saves a lot of manual tasks with entering them into your TMS if they, poured in like that. But they're not the end all to vetting carriers, right? And we've seen plenty of brokers go under as a result of not doing their due diligence. Same thing with carriers doing due diligence with these double brokers and fake shippers and things, right? And who's to say that it stops with brokers? What if it's a fake shipper posing, because like they said, they're taking a shipper's credit information, and let's say they reach out to you as a carrier direct. This is just the first step in something that could affect carriers as well. Let's say you have a fleet of, I don't know, let's just say 15 trucks, right? And they're like, hey, we'd really rather work with carrier direct, Anyway, the final outcome is, since they're acting as a shipper, they award the load to the broker, collect the payment as the carrier, and never pay the broker, right? So let's say they were paying $2,000. This fictitious carrier does end up with the load. Let's say they took it for $1,800, right? Broker makes his 10%, and he pays that carrier, that fictitious carrier, the $1,800 because they're probably got a BS bill of lading, and paperwork and everything saying that the load got picked up and delivered. Probably doesn't have tracking, nothing like that. They turn in their invoice and they get paid. Now the broker's out $1,800, right? And this can happen for multiple shipments before the broker even finds out that there's a problem, which could be 30 to 60 days later, right? So there's some things that you should be doing to avoid this, okay? Use Google and LinkedIn, right? Start with just your basic search, on Google and LinkedIn. This can reveal valuable information about the company's history, reputation, legitimacy, things like this, right? The email domain, if they're, emailing you, phone, sending, making a phone call to you, and phones coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, or they're using a Gmail account and they're posing as a shipper in LA, that should be a red flag, right? So scrutinize the shipper's email domain and their phone numbers. Uh, these should align with the company's official contact information, and be wary of generic email domains and mismatched or obscure contact numbers, right? So like if they're using at Yahoo or at Google, kind of a thing, that should be a red flag. Now, I do have shippers that use Google, right? They're small shippers. They never really registered an actual domain thing, but they've all been properly vetted. So don't immediately shy away, but double check, right? Obviously, do your credit checks. If you're using a factoring company, most, if not all, factoring companies will offer you free credit checks as a part of their service to you, right? Check their DNB or Duns and Bradstreet, Experian, things like that to do a comprehensive credit check. Those reports, not only verify creditworthiness, but also provide authentic contact information, right? If it looks kind of legit, and you're going to take a chance on it, at least at a bare minimum, limit how much credit you're extending to that shipper, right? It's always better to exercise caution in how much credit that you extend to a new shipper, especially, something like this, and hopefully you don't fall into this trap at all, but if they're a new or less known entity, limiting credit can, kind of reduce your risk exposure, right? Obviously, with on the carrier part of that scam, obviously double check safer, and hopefully you're utilizing like DAT on board, RMIS or something like that, and then carrier OK or Carrier 411 or one of those. I think what's another one? Carrier Assure, I believe, is another one. Some of those get a little pricey. I think Carrier OK, just as a sidebar on that, Carrier OK starts off at like $50 a month. Carrier 411, I believe, starts at $100 a month, and Carrier Assure, I believe, don't hit me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it's like $140 or $150 a month. So, depending upon what your needs are, they're all pretty similar. But obviously shop around, find out what, not just based on price, but find out which one is best for you, right? Guys, I really hope that this helped you, and, to avoid this scam. It's, we've talked a few times this past year about, the double brokering and some of the other scams and fraud that have affected, not only just brokers, but carriers as well. And I hope that you all are out there doing your due diligence. If you run into a problem and, you don't have anywhere else to turn, and you've found yourself falling into one of these pitfalls with the scammers, reach out to me, or reach out to the group if you're already a member of the group, which, by the way, I have to say this once again, if you're watching this and you click the link and you want to join the group, please, I beg you, please fill out all of the membership questions, okay? Because I don't know who you are, okay? We do our very best to vet new members coming in, and we do polls in the group, right? And so there's certain people that the group doesn't want in, overwhelmingly. So sorry, dispatchers, independent dispatch services, and I've actually run that poll a few different times, just to kind of update and find out the group's thoughts, because it's not just my group. Did I put it together? Yes, but everybody is a member. Everybody is essentially like an equal partner in the group, right? So I value everyone's input, and we try to keep out all non-hackers, scammers, bad actors out of the group, and those that shouldn't be there, because we don't want to end up with a lot of spam and things like that, and potential for fraud to the members, right? So please, 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 please answer all the questions. It really helps me out. Otherwise, I have to reject it, or I will send a denial with reasons why, right? You didn't answer all the questions. You didn't agree to the group's terms, things like this. All of these are in place for the safety and well-being of the members of the group. Okay? Not to get too long-winded on that, but it's I had 161 members tail end of last week, and I ended up having to reject a majority of them just as a result of not answering questions, or I get some BS answer, I'm in it. Just don't do that, right? And don't lie. And I've caught a few people that, oh, I'm a broker, I'm a owner operator, and then they get in there, and then they want to post. Obviously, all posts have to be pre-approved, and then you see them and they're advertising for some dispatch service or get rich quick scheme, or things like this, and it helps save a lot of time. So be honest with your questions. If you're brand new and trying to get into the industry, then say so, right? You don't have to be rejected just because you're not already a freight agent or an owner operator or a broker or anything like that. Maybe you're thinking about taking a course or getting your CDL or something, right? And you want some input from veterans in the industry, those that know, that have the experience, right? So don't be afraid if you're seeing this and you want to join, but you're not already a part of the industry, then just answer that, right? But don't say want to be a part of it or something like that. Just say, hey, I'm interested in learning more about the industry, or I'm interested in becoming a freight broker, or I'm interested in getting my CDL or something like that, right? So everyone, I hope you guys are having a fabulous Monday. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week if I don't talk to you again before Thursday. As a reminder, we are going to have the great people from eCarrier Check come on, tell us a little bit about what they do and their system and what it provides as a resource and network option for everyone. So really looking forward to that. That again will be at noon Eastern on this Thursday. So with that, I will sign off and have a great day. Bye-bye now.